Oh my god. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I need to not look at myself in the camera. But my hair is just so like doing its thing, you know. My name is Brenna. This is my first video and I'm actually being super awkward about talking to a camera with no one around. First things first, this video is in sepia because I'm in a burnt orange room with no natural light and I haven't painted yet. I bought the paint 2 months ago. I've painted a door. The door is blue, but that's it. So maybe the next time I film a video, the room will be nice and bright and I won't be brown or tan. Orange? What color is sepia? So I put on my Instagram a poll to do just a general Q&A or to do like a list of my firsts for my first video. And the first one, for obvious reasons, because some of them are super awkward and people want to embarrass the fuck out of me. So we're gonna do that. I have like a whole little thing full of firsts to answer. Also, I'm gonna straighten my hair while I film this video because there's not enough hours in the day and it just needs to be done. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've been sitting on this video for a while because I didn't know if I should use other people's names, basically. Like, so I'm gonna try and refrain from using people's names in this, if at all possible, just for the sake of like, because some of them are weird. I don't want people to get like awkward or find out they've been talked about on the internet or some shit and have them get mad at me. I don't know. I just don't think it would be very cool. So I'm gonna try to make my filter work. It doesn't usually, but we're gonna try really hard, brain. We're gonna try it today. We're gonna not use people's names. We're gonna turn the filter on. Yeah, and we're gonna hop right into it, and I'm gonna awkwardly do this at the same time, and it's not gonna work anymore. First best friend. So my first best friend that I can remember was in preschool. Her name was Lee, and after preschool I never saw her again. I don't know whatever happened to her. I remember it was Halloween, I think, because we were all wearing costumes, so I'm assuming it was Halloween, unless it was like a birthday party, I don't know. And we were at school and she told me she was moving, and like I was like 5 and I was like, are you coming back? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And then she moved away, and then that was like, I don't think I ever saw her again. So that was my first best friend. That one's pretty boring. First celebrity crush. Aaron Carter. I think it was Aaron Carter. He was in, when he was young, he did like music and stuff. But he was in an episode of Lizzie McGuire, and I think that's when I really started liking him because he was like a little bit older and he wasn't like the little kid when he was doing his music. So yeah, he was pretty hot. I think he did drugs for a while though, so I don't know what he's up to nowadays. He had the bleached hair thing going on, typical like early 2000s, whatever. After that, I guess it was probably Josh Hutcherson from Bridge to Terabithia and Zathura and obviously Hunger Games, but I'm talking about like first celebrity crush, like when I was little. So first app you check in the AM. I guess it just depends. I mean, I wake up and I see like all my notifications. I think honestly I usually check KXAN because there's usually someone got in a wreck and traffic is going to ruin my entire commute to work, or it's telling us how hot it's going to be, and I go and check and see what the weather is going to look like just to see if maybe they're lying to us, and they aren't lying to us. It's still hot as hell and I've made it here. First piercing was my ears, as was most girls, I guess. Funny story though. So I was in 3rd grade when I got my ears pierced, I had been sick at some point, and my mom was trying to get me to take these pills, like to make me feel better, and I was scared to take the pills because I thought I was gonna choke and die. So I wouldn't take them. I would not swallow these pills. And she was like, she compared them to the size of like those little tiny, the baby M&Ms, and she's like, I'm sure you could swallow one of those M&Ms whole if you tried. And I was like, I chew them, but whatever. And she was like, well, since you're not gonna take these pills, you're grounded for a month and you're not allowed to have candy ever again. And when you're 9 years old, that's like devastating news. I was literally grounded. I was grounded for like a week and a half or something. And then picture day was coming up, and she really wanted me to get my ears pierced, and I had been scared to get my ears, like, I think she'd wanted me to for a few years, and I've always been scared to. I mean, it wasn't ever something that I like wanted to do, and the thought of a needle going into my ear was not pleasant. And she was like, if you get your ears pierced for picture day, I'll unground you and you can have candy again. So I was like, that's a fat bet. So I got my ears pierced, and here we are now with my ears still pierced. I got my second hole pierced. I got my nose pierced, got my lip pierced, got my eyebrow pierced, got my belly button pierced. All of them are out now. This was, like, after I moved out, I went and got everything done that I wasn't allowed to do while I was living with my parents. And then as you get older, you're like, these are in the way of everything, and I'm tired of snagging them on towels when I get out of the shower, so I just took them all out. And I still have my ear ones, obviously, but I don't really wear anything in them ever. I have no reason to. First broken bone. I've never broken a bone. I've broken, like, toes. I think the first time I've broken toes a lot. I don't really count that as a bone because it's like it doesn't prohibit you from, or at least mine didn't prohibit me from like living my normal life. But the first time I broke my toe, it was my pinky toe. Me and my friend Lainey were running to the mailbox, and she was about to go to soccer practice, and she had her soccer cleats on. And I was like trying to push her, like, to get her to slow down so I could beat her to the mailbox. And in the process of pushing her, she like came back over and stepped on my foot. I was barefoot, stepped on my foot and broke my toe with her cleats. So that was fun. It was like black and blue for a while, and it was really uncomfortable to wear shoes, but that's it. I'm never broken anything other than that. Both of my little brothers have. I guess I'm just not as crazy as they are. First car wreck. Thank you to the person who asked me that, because you just like to rub it in my face that I wrecked my car. Technically, wreck, yeah, I was with my Infiniti. I was at a yield behind this lady, and, you know, we were waiting for traffic, like oncoming traffic to go. And our light, for all the people that were, like, so we were at a yield to go this way, and all the people that were next to us were, like, their light turned green and they were all going straight. So if they're all going straight, obviously there's no oncoming traffic coming. So she started to go, and their light's still green. And I looked to make sure there wasn't any, like, weirdo turning right from, like, a straight lane or something. And when I looked, she had, like, stopped in the middle of the freaking intersection, and I just crashed into the back of her. And I bent, like, I scratched some paint off the back of her bumper and bent her muffler up. And it was my fault, but cost $7,000 worth of damage to my car. And that happened. Anyways, it was, you know, a whole shit show. Everyone else knows the backstory. Basically, we took my car to an out-of-network body shop, even though State Farm said that was a bad idea. And I said, screw you, State Farm, I'm gonna do what I want. And that body shop guy basically pocketed my insurance money and fled. So my car never got fully fixed, and I drove it around, wrecked for a while, but it had so many problems. Like, the radiator was all jacked up, radiator support, my headlight was cracked. My car was white, and everywhere that they touched up the paint looked like that stuff, the whiteout that they put on paper, or nail polish. It looked like they just took nail polish to it. It was just totally trashy. So anyways, I traded it in and I got my fur, and that's where we are. That was the first wreck. I mean, like, I've hit someone else. Hit someone else behind, like, from the back. That sounds weird. Why do I say things so weird? I bumped into the back of someone. I was doing like 2 miles per hour, which is what I was doing in the Infinity, but I was in a truck at the time. Didn't even take any dust off their bumpers, so it was like whatever. And then, like, also in the truck, I pulled up too close to a pole a couple times, like in a parking spot, and hit a pole, that kind of thing. Hit a lot of curbs. I'm really bad with curbs, but yeah, that was my only wreck. First mod on a car. I didn't do any mods to the Blazer. I plasti dipped all the emblems, and I put a bumper sticker on it that said Royal Bitch. Did I do anything to the truck? I didn't do anything to the truck. With the G, I put an axle back exhaust on it. That was my first mod. And then school was starting and I had to buy textbooks, so I sold my axle back and I put my muffler back on, like the stock one. And then I didn't like it being quiet, so I purposely put an exhaust leak on my car just so it would be loud. First hobby. Oh lord. So I used to like do like HTML coding and make like these page layouts for people. And I was really good at it and couldn't tell you how to do it now. I was like 8 years old doing this stuff. 8, 9, 10. I mean, I was on that website for a while. But I definitely started like when I was like 8 or 9. And yeah, that was my first hobby, was coding layout pages. It's fucking exciting, right? First heartbreak. First heartbreak. Honestly, I don't know. Like, you know, you have like these little elementary school and middle school boyfriends that don't mean anything. Like, it's not real. I wasn't heartbroken by any of them. And then moving on, when I got older, if I broke up, like, usually I did the breaking up with someone. And or if they broke up with me, it was kind of just like, you're cool. First heartbreak. Like, my dog hasn't died yet, so I wasn't, you know, what would I be sad about? What is there to be sad about before 23? I really don't know. This is a horrible question. First heartbreak. Huh. Shit, I don't know. That one's, I mean, I guess when my grandparents died. That's probably not the answer anyone was looking for. I'm sure y'all were thinking about like a boyfriend or something, but I, like, truly and honestly, I would be heartbroken if anything happened to me and John. Like, for sure, but nothing has. Don't really jinx anything. Yeah, I guess when my grandparents died, I was and still am like super upset about it, but that's all I got for that one. First time moving out. So technically the first time I moved out was when I went to UNT fall of 2014. So that was, what year is it? 2019. That was 5 years ago. Jesus Christ, I am old and I have accomplished nothing with my life. Or gotten a degree. I haven't done anything. I was only there for a semester though, because I was super anxious all the time and incapable of making friends, and came back home. And then I lived at home for the spring semester. I just did ACC. Lived with my mom, and then me and my friend Lainey got an apartment. So technically, I mean, 19 was when I like moved out officially, like paid my own rent and stuff. Kind of cool. It's pretty chill. First embarrassing moment. That's a hard one. I can think of a lot of embarrassing moments that are like more recent than my first. I don't know what my first one would have been. There's a few that occurred in middle school that come to mind. Okay, this just came to mind for some reason. I remember I wasn't in preschool, it was a summer camp type thing. I think I was going into 1st grade and my brother was in preschool. I was like, me and my brother were swinging on the swings. Like, we had just been dropped off in the morning by mom. And we were swinging on the swings, and I had noticed, like, a teacher blowing a whistle and calling, you know, kids over to line up and, like, go inside one of the buildings or whatever. And I watched them all line up and go inside, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I'm just gonna hang out with my brother, because I know my brother. And then, like, 30 minutes later, another teacher blows the whistle and starts rounding up all the kids and, like, tells my brother, come on. And she's like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Daniel's sister. And she's like, how old are you? And I was like 6 or something. I was like, I'm 6. And she's like, are you supposed to be in the preschool? And I was like, fuck if I know. Like, my mom just dropped us off here. And she's like, I think you're supposed to be with the older kids for the summer camp. And I was like, okay. So then she took me to, like, where the first round of kids had lined up and, like, gone in. Took me over there. I feel like I still have conditioner in my hair. I sat down, or walked in, and everyone was like, who's that? Who's that? And teacher's like, oh, this is Brenna. She's, you know, running a little bit late this morning. And I was like, hi. And then she brought me over to this girl, Madison, and sat me down, and we played checkers on this big, like, blanket thing. And I did a move, and I kinged, or queened, whatever, 2 of my pieces, and she called me stupid for it. She called me stupid, like, being, like she was mad at me that I was winning, and was like, oh, you're stupid. And I wasn't allowed to say stupid in my household because my parents are weird. And I was like, ooh, you said the S word? And she's like, stupid? And I was like, yeah, I'm not allowed to say that. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she literally apologized for it. And then that's the extent of what I remember. I remember we had pizza. What was the embarrassing moment? I guess I was embarrassed that I was out there with, like, my little brother and, like, all the other little, like, kids, like 2, 3, 4-year-olds. That wasn't really embarrassing, but I already went on that whole tangent, so we're just gonna roll with it. First time. Anyways, we're not gonna go into super details here. I was 17. It was mostly awkward because I think we were in a bunk bed. I feel like we were on the bottom bunk of a bunk bed. And there's a really good chance that, like, his mom and brothers were home. And I was kind of just like, oh, it was the day after my 17th birthday. And I think I was more just like, I just want to get it over with. Like, I didn't actually want to. And yeah, and, like, it happened. And, like, it wasn't, like, awful. It was just, like, it wasn't anything special. You know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of like, okay, we did it. Congrats. And that was it. Yeah, I'm, like, 99% sure his entire family was home. And they had a small house, so they heard anything. Sorry, whatever. But I have them all blocked now, so who cares? First speeding ticket. I really wanted cupcakes. I wasn't in Denton at the time. I was home visiting from UNT. And I wanted cupcakes, so I drove all the way over to Caprimo, Spicewood Springs and 183. Got my cupcakes, I was super excited, and it was, like, getting late, so I just wanted to get home. So I get on 183, and eventually 183 goes, if you get on the 45 toll, you know, you're on the toll and it's like 75, 80 miles an hour. Well, this person in front of me was doing like 65. And I'm like, we're on 183, why are you doing 65 on the tollway? Psst, Brenna, it's not the tollway yet. So I fling around her and I kick it up to a high speed of some sort. In my truck, my poor truck, like, come on. And I get in front of her, and as soon as I get in front of her, I see this sheriff or the state trooper, like, pull off the grass and, like, get behind me. But he didn't turn his lights on yet. I slammed on the brakes and I was like, crap, there's a cop. And, like, nothing happened. He didn't turn his lights on, so he was just behind me. And I was like, okay, so I'm, like, cruising. I kick it down to, like, 70. literally the speed limit is 60 still on this road, so I'm still freaking speeding. But we're about to enter like the toll road, and he follows me all the way onto the toll road, and from that entrance, the first exit on the toll road is Parmer, and it's got 3 exit lanes, and I didn't want to exit, so I put on my blinker to get over out of the exit lanes, and he lets me get all the way over to the left before he puts his lights on, and I'm like, get all the way back over 3 lanes of traffic, and we exit, and he pulls me over, and he's like, you know why I pulled you over? And I was like, no. Yes. And he's like, I clocked you doing 81 in a 60. And I was like, oh. I'm not one to like cry or act like I did anything wrong, so I was just like, you know. And he's like, what's the rush? And I was like, there wasn't one. I just was trying to pass someone and it was bad timing. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'm only gonna write you for 10 over just to save you the trouble. And I mean, like, yeah, it saved me a little bit of money, I guess, but anyways, I ended up having to do the whole, well, what happened was, because my residency was in Denton at the time, I had to go up to Denton. I had to mail this form. I had to pay like $5 for a permission form to mail back to the Austin courthouse to get permission to take the defensive driving thing, and then that was like $125. And I didn't want to do it. I wanted to just pay, but I was on my dad's insurance at the time, and he's like, if you pay that ticket, your insurance is going to go up, and then we're going to kick you off, and then what are you going to do? And I was like, I did the, what's it called, and waited till the last minute to do it. Literally pulled up to the courthouse to turn in my, like, certificate of completion, like, 10 minutes before they closed. Queen of procrastination, but that's okay. First time you were allowed to wear makeup. I didn't express interest in wearing makeup until like 7th, like whenever the scene phase hit with the super, you know, the eyeliner and the yeah. So that's when I like wanted to wear makeup, but before that, I just didn't have any interest in it. In 6th grade, I started wearing eyeshadow because I was friends with this girl. Who had like all these crazy colors on her eyelids all the time, and I was like, oh, that's really cute, I'm gonna do that. And so like I started wearing eyeshadow, but I didn't like put anything on my face or wear mascara or anything until like 7th grade, and I just bought some stuff and started wearing it. My parents were never like, oh, you can't wear that. First pet, Nemo, my beta fish. In 3rd grade, we had these Scholar Dollar sales. Hold up. This song, I'm just not about it.
Yo, I got a fake ID though. Yeah. Yeah.
First pet, Nemo, my beta fish. In 3rd grade, we had these Scholar Dollars. We got Scholar Dollars for like good grades, I think. I don't actually remember where the Scholar Dollars came from, but I saved up, and I remember I had like a lot, and they have a Scholar Dollar sale, and the crossing guard lady, actually, she was super cool. She told me that she had donated a beta fish to the sale, and I was like, I'm gonna get that fish, and I got the fish. And I asked my teacher if I could borrow her phone so I could call my dad and tell him I got a fish. And I called him and told him I got a fish, and he basically thought I was just like pranking him. And then when he picked me up from school, which he had to do because I couldn't ride my bike home with the fish, yeah, he found out I wasn't joking. So Nemo was supposed to live for like 2 weeks, and I had him for 3 years. So rest in peace, Nemo. First boyfriend was, again, no names, almost said a name. This guy in 4th grade that me and my best friend actually fought over for a while. 4th grade boyfriends ain't shit. We sat together at lunch, and that was about the extent of it. Oh, and then it was almost spring fling, and I was going to Houston the weekend of spring fling, so I didn't go. And when I came back, a whole bunch of my friends told me that he went to spring fling with someone else, and that was like the end of our relationship. First college friend, Misha, obviously. I know I said I wasn't gonna use names, but like, I have nothing against her. So, she was my roommate, and her, well, now husband, then fiance, Darren, were my first and only college friends, and we're still friends. And I haven't seen them in forever, and I miss y'all. First car, I already answered this, but it was the 2000 Chevy Blazer. People called it, it's actually kind of weird, people called it Pornhub because the struts were shot and every time you sat in it or like drove over a bump, it squeaked really bad. And then I got my truck that had like red cloth interior and people called that one Pornhub too. First time moving houses, not moving out, moving houses. I was 16. My parents divorced and got remarried, and my dad moved to Cedar Park with my stepmom, and so we sold my childhood home and I moved to Cedar Park. I was back at, my mom had a house in Round Rock, but it wasn't the one I grew up in. 16, that's a rough time. You don't want to be like uprooting your life at 16, but whatever. I acted out in school to protest. First person you text when something exciting happens. John. All the time. Even if he doesn't give a fuck about what it is. I'm like, this just happened. And he's like, okay. If John doesn't answer, then I text my mom. Can't read my own handwriting. First time getting wasted. Sorry, Dad. I had the truck, so this must have been the summer after I graduated high school. Like before I went to UNT. I was hanging out at the old house, my childhood house, because like I still had a bunch of like neighborhood friends over there with some people, and we got a bunch of screwdrivers and I drank like all of them, and we were hanging out in the field. Everyone else went home and then it was just me and like one other person, and I was like throwing up in the field or like ripsticking around on the little there was like a little basketball court thing. I was like riding around in circles there. I had to pee like 12 times. Literally went and peed out in the field. And then it was like 3 in the morning and I was like, I had stopped drinking for a while, but I was still like pretty like bleh. And my dad asked me where I was and said I needed to come home, and I drove home. I really hope he doesn't want, you know, I might just leave that part out. I went home. I was given a ride home. First swear word. Fuck. First makeup item you put on. Does moisturizer count? I always put moisturizer on first. If you're talking about like actual makeup, then primer. Is primer actual makeup? I do moisturizer, primer, and then my liquid foundation. I should do my eyes first and then put on my foundation, but I almost never do, so yeah, liquid foundation. CoverGirl True Blend in the color whitest one, I forget, it's in sepia, you can't see. Number one, and it's called Ivory. First kiss was when I was 15. It was the summer after freshman year, and it was in my backyard with this boy I was with at the time, and like it was cute, I guess. I don't know. I remember after he kissed me, he was like, I did it, and I was like, oh, like you were scared, and then I was like, I don't know. First job. My first job was as a kennel tech at Lap of Luxury Dog Resort. I don't remember how I found that job. It was probably on Craigslist. But basically, it was a house turned doggy daycare type thing, and I worked there for 3 months, and then I was taken off the schedule. Like, I went to go get my schedule, and she handed me the schedule, and I was not on it. And I was like, did you forget to put me on the schedule? And she was like, no, we're just really slow right now, so I don't need you right now. And I was like, okay. So after that, I was kind of like, well, that sucks. So I started looking for another job, found another job as a kennel tech somewhere else. And then she called me like a month later and was like, hey, we're picking back up again. You want to come back? And I just like ignored her call and never called her back. And then they shut down like a few weeks after that. So it's a good thing I didn't go back because I feel like that would have been a waste of my time. First crush. This kid named Eric. using names again. I wasn't supposed to use names, but it wasn't anything bad. This kid Eric at my preschool. He used to throw the football around with this guy during like our recess, and me and this other girl that I was friends with at the time, whose name that I cannot remember for the life of me. I remember what she looked like, but I don't remember what her name was. We used to ask him to come hang with us, and he's like, I gotta finish throwing the football first. And we're like, okay. And then during nap time, we never slept. We always stayed up and talked, and we always got in trouble. And his mom always picked him up during nap time. So then he would like leave, and then I would just be like by myself. So I'm like, well, there goes my talking buddy. So first thing you do when you get home, I'm assuming like from work, I guess. It depends what time I get home. If I get off work early, then I let the dogs out. If I get home after John gets home, then shower. Yeah, I guess that's it. First concert was Hilary Duff in 3rd grade. A lot of things happened in 3rd grade, I'm realizing now. Just went and saw Hilary Duff with my friend, and it was pretty lit. We were kind of obsessed with her, so it was super cool. Yeah, our moms went with us. They were pretty thrilled, but thanks moms for getting us those tickets. I answered all of them. I'm gonna go make some pizza and call it quits. So hopefully for the next video, a few things will happen. This won't be the backdrop. The room won't be orange. I won't be awkwardly playing with my hair the whole time. I'll have an intro. I have one, it's not like ready yet, so I'm not throwing it in this one. I'll have like an official channel intro. Yeah, it'll be a little bit more professional next time. I just wanted to get my first video up there just to have it done because I've been procrastinating for a while. And so here it is. This is the video, my first video. So cute, right? And that's that. So like, subscribe, share, or don't. I don't really care. Do what you want. It's not my problem. I will catch y'all on the next video, on the next go around. I will catch y'all later. I need to come up with something to say at the end. Peace out, homies.